recollection. Maybe you haven't. I mean, I know I've done it a few times, but maybe it was all on days that I was by myself.
Did you do it? Did you donate? You destroyed these. We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Great.
Let's all have a seat.
I'm glad my microphone was on because I was just proving how little I know about crystal ball.
Good Shabbos. There's like sand on here. Sand. So we are honored this Shabbat to be recognizing Veterans Day. Next time we're going to walk around the outside. We have a little leak. To be recognizing Veterans Day, to be remembering and thanking those who died fighting for our country, for democracy, for freedom, for the gratitude that there are people that are willing to risk their lives to fight for what they believe in, and we have been the beneficiaries of generations of soldiers who have fought for our country. Many of whom are still alive too. I was confusing Veterans Day and Memorial Day a little bit. Veterans, we thank all those who have fought for our country as well, and pray that they are able to live in the peace that they fought for and get the help and care they need if they need it. So that's worse now. We can hear the ring. It's okay. And we're also coming together in solidarity with Melville Jewish Center and Dix Hills Jewish Center. Our friends at Melville Jewish Center, formerly South Huntington Jewish Center, reached out and had this idea and said, why don't we each have a service that stands up against anti-Semitism, that allows us to come together? And I said, that's a great idea. So even though I think with the anniversary of Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, we talked about anti-Semitism, we'll look at it from a slightly different angle this evening. And we know that we're coming together in solidarity with the Dix Hills Melville community, and I imagine with other Jews around the world as well. We begin with the Star Spangled Banner, being thankful that we live in this country, that there's democracy, and I invite you to rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the bereaved?
Let us pray, since I can't say, we're all set up there. Please be seated. And I'd like to begin with a poem that is being read at Dixville's Jewish Center and at Melville Jewish Center tonight as well. It's called You of Blood and Venom, a prayer for the Jewish people. You will not succeed. You of hate, you of violence, you of blood and venom. My people have seen your kind for generations, for millennia. We have stood before guns and knives, gallows and gas chambers to outlive our persecutors. Greece fell, Rome faded. The Inquisitions, the pogroms, the Treblinkas, and the Babi Yars all failed. The people of Israel live. The nation of Israel lives. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai yishmorecha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God shall keep you from all evil. God will keep your soul. No, you will not succeed. You of hate, you of violence, you of blood and venom. I'm Yisrael High. The people of Israel lives. The nation of Israel lives. And like Jews all over the world tonight, we light our Shabbat candles, and it is my pleasure to invite Cole Ortenberg and his mom Leslie to honor us by lighting the candles. The mom, come up.
I sing to you, be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you.
Figure it
As
out.
these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we be our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'hadlignei shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Thank you. Page 126. If you're following and there are brackets on the bottom of the page, use the brackets. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics or no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Lecha Dodi, page 138, as we enjoy the joy of Shabbat, and at the last verse we'll rise and face the Sabbath bride.
Lecha
Turn to page 146, and we remain standing for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 148. Turn to page 150, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, V'shomeinu u'mekomeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayeinu, be'orech yameinu, U'behem negeh yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavata kal tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto le'olam va'ed.
Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated. We continue together on page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantan levanecha v'divarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachpecha uv'kumecha ukshartan le'ot al yadecha V'hayu l'tochafot bein einecha. U'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha. Lama'an tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai. V'tem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem and Cole, your name is in that prayer all over the place. Never thought of it quite that way. I'd like to share a prayer from Naomi Levy's Talking to God in honor of our special theme this evening of standing up to anti-Semitism. It's called A Prayer for a Better World. So we will do that instead of the prayer on 157 as our lead into Micha Mocha, which is on 158. But you don't have to, just listen. Just listen. You have given us a wonderful and horrible world, God. Why? Why is this world so beautiful and majestic and yet so full of disaster and disease? Why is there abundance and dire poverty, kindness and cruelty? Why do some live in peace while others live in fear and war? Why did you bless us with one hand, God, and then curse us with the other? Please show yourself, God, help us. Give us the wisdom to eradicate disease, the tools to end hunger, and the courage and compassion to overcome hatred and bloodshed. Turn our complacency into action, soften our hardened hearts, transform our despair into hope. Grace us with your presence, God. Teach us how to bless our world with health, abundance, joy, and peace. Amen. Micha Mocha.
Almost in tune.
We all think it's a joy.
Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Va'izim Adonai. Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha. Before they keep sliding down my face.
I'll have to put some putty on your nose. Give you a little bump.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Page 160, Hashkivenu. Okay. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Grant us that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us your shelter of peace. What would that feel like, to feel a shelter of peace spread over you, over us, over our people? As we join with the Cantor in Hashkivenu, let's imagine a shelter of peace over our sanctuary, over those we love, over the whole world. That was your cue. Thank you.
Like this one. My finger. Look at that too.
Oh, it's a little bad. Got it.
Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shamreinu b'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Shkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu Shamreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Shivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu Shamreinu lechaim. Ushmot zetenu voenu l'chaim u'l'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam, u'faros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, ha'porei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'chol amo Yisrael, ve'ol Yerushalayim.
A special prayer for Shabbat. I long to change the world, but I rarely appreciate things as they are. I know how to give, but I don't always know how to receive. I know how to keep busy, but I don't always know how to be still. I talk, but I don't often listen. I look, but I don't often see. I yearn to succeed, but I often forget what is truly important. Teach me, God, to slow down. May my resting revive me. May it lead me to wisdom, to holiness, to peace, and to you. Amen. We turn to page 166 as we rise for the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Tikonei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מקלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. So make נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסירים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחייך, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
On page 171, days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We have another special prayer for Shabbat. And this one is a prayer for tolerance. Since I think when we think of the aspirations that Shabbat reminds us of, tolerance is certainly one of those traits that we aspire to. Teach us, God, to treasure the differences that distinguish one person from another. Fill us with the strength to overcome senseless fear and hatred. Open our hearts to the radiance that shines forth from every human soul. Inspire us to shed our apathy. Remind us that this is our obligation to be responsible for one another. Open our ears to the cries of all who are in need of our assistance. Give us the courage to combat prejudice and intolerance wherever they exist. Teach us to see each other through your eyes, God. In your eyes, all people are equally loved, equally precious. Bless us all, God, with compassion, with kindness, and with peace. We turn to page 175 for Ritzay.
Ritzay, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amai Yisrael. Ritzay, Adonai Eloheinu,
We give thanks on page 177. The second prayer we read together. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us a little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hato shimcha l'chana'eh lehodot. We pray for peace. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Nazim Leolam. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Nazim Leolam. Ki atahu melech gadol, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech gadol, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Nazim Leolam. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Nazim Leolam. Et Amcha Yisrael, בקולנו בכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב, ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב, ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. A prayer for peace. Let us live in peace, God. Let children live in peace, in homes free from brutality and abuse. Let them go to school for peace, free from violence and fear. Let them play in peace, God, in safe parks and safe neighborhoods. Watch over them. Let husbands and wives love in peace, in marriages free from cruelty. Let men and women go to work in peace with no fear of terror or bloodshed. Let us travel in peace. Protect us, God, in the air, on the seas, along whatever road we take. Let nations dwell together in peace, without the threat of war hovering over them. Help us, God. Teach all people of all races and faiths in all the countries all over the world to believe that the peace that seems so far off is in fact within our reach. Let us all live in peace, God, and let us say, as we fill our hearts with peace, let us take a few moments for silent prayer.
עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ, אל ייתן למוט רגליך, אל ינום שומרך, הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך, על יד ימינך, יומם השמש לא יכך, וירח בלילה, אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם.
Was particularly beautiful. Who was the composer?
Joseph Carpenter?
Never heard of him.
It's an SI9, so I thought that was a nice.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Whenever I set out to write a sermon about anti-Semitism, I say I could do this in 3 words. Anti-Semitism is bad. And after that, I sort of say, what else is there to say? It's bad. It's scary. We don't know what to do about it. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the incident with Kanye and how so many Jews and non-Jews stepped up and stood and spoke out and said this is not acceptable. We are blessed to live in the United States of America, where people stand up and speak out and say anti-Semitism in any form is not acceptable. Where Jews are able to call out anti-Semitism on the left and the right and realize that it's a whole mishmash of different ways of attacking the Jewish people. We've learned in the last few years that being anti-Israel or anti-Zionist, which people say, oh, I'm just anti-Israel. I'm not anti the Jewish people. We've learned that we can't separate those 2 ideas and no one else can. It's a euphemism. It's an attempt to, I don't know, downplay a hatred. It's a hatred nevertheless. So I was fascinated this week to learn in E-Jewish Philanthropy, which is a daily newsletter, which I highly recommend, of a new way to take action. The Anti-Defamation League, a venerable organization in the Jewish world, is acquiring an investing organization called J-Lens, J-L-E-N-S, J-Lens, which is a group that invests in companies through a Jewish lens, which holds companies accountable to certain Jewish values. So the ADL is acquiring them as a new way of combating anti-Semitism and anti-Israel boycotts in the corporate world. For the ADL, which has historically campaigned against anti-Semitism in the market through advocacy, we're familiar with that, coalitions, creating partnerships with so many other groups, Jewish and non-Jewish, using the power of the media and boycott campaigns. For them, this means entering directly into shareholder meetings and speaking with corporate social responsibility executives in order to impact company policies. They're talking about all the big companies in America, in the world. Those are the places they want a seat at the table. J-Lens was founded in 2012. Their mission has gained the support and imprimatur of one of the largest and most prominent Jewish organizations, the JDL. And it will now allow them to focus on pushing companies to disavow anti-Semitism and to distance themselves from the BDS movement, the boycott, divest, and sanctions movement against Israel. Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of ADL, has pointed out how brands, companies, mediate so much of our lives. He says, in our country, when consumers are so cynical about government and are so cynical about organized religion and so cynical about political candidates, consumers feel like their brands represent them and their values. This now gives the ADL the opportunity to have a seat at the table in a way that I think will allow us to be more effective advocates for our community and its core values. In recent years, the ADL has focused on pushing companies to disavow anti-Semitism or boycotts of Israel or its West Bank settlements. A campaign in 2020 aimed at getting Facebook to clamp down on hate speech saw the group and a coalition of other civil rights advocates recruit 1,200 companies and organizations to join a temporary ad boycott of the social network. Pretty powerful. More recently, following Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, a similar coalition urged companies to pause their Twitter ads. The ADL also urged Unilever, the parent company of Ben & Jerry's, to halt the ice cream manufacturer's boycott of what it termed occupied Palestinian territory. And it waged a public campaign in recent weeks to successfully urge sportswear giant Adidas to end its collaboration with the fashion label of Kanye West following West's anti-Semitic comments. The ADL is so often working behind the scenes and in front, but sometimes we don't even realize what they're doing and how they're connecting with these different companies and fighting anti-Semitism in ways that are very effective, but not always very public. They continue, this values-based investment field is enormous. It's trillions of dollars in investment capital. It affects the public behavior of hundreds of companies, the most powerful companies in the world, Hammerman told E-Jewish Philanthropy. I'll tell you who Hammerman is. Sorry, one of the ADL people, I think. Yeah. No, Julie Hammerman is the current CEO and founder of J-Lens. It's a space the Jewish community needs to have a strategic presence in long term. The Reform Movement's pension board in the last 5 years now has a Jewish values fund that we can elect to put a portion of our pension into this fund. And one of my dear friends, Howard Shapiro, who came and installed me when I became senior rabbi, actually, he was on the pension board and was explaining it. I was talking to him this morning, a little bit of how it worked, that they look for companies that have at least 50% women on their board of directors, which he pointed out was difficult unless they put pictures up. You can't always just tell by the name. They look for companies that don't have anti-abortion policies or anti-gay policies or ones that are trying to do their best for the environment. So Jewish values of Tikkun Olam, Jewish values of caring for people, they pick companies that are aligned with the Reform Movement's values, with Judaism's values. I will say since the market went down, that section of the fund has not been doing quite as well, but it did well before that, and I have hopes that it will do well again. But this is interesting. So this is very similar work that J-Lens is doing. They actually consulted with J-Lens when they formed this fund. Last week, J-Lens and the ADL and a range of other Jewish organizations reached an agreement with the financial firm Morningstar, which J-Lens accused of supporting BDS and displaying an anti-Israel bias in its evaluations. The agreement saw Morningstar change its practices and commit to training to address those claims. They're willing to learn. They heard they were doing something intentionally or unintentionally, and they're willing to change. The ADL's acquisition of J-Lens promises more activism of that kind. That's an interesting way to label it, as activism. But don't think that's the typical definition we think of. We think of lobbying politicians, maybe, and going to rallies more than we think of working with big companies to help them create policies that support our values. J-Lens evaluates companies based on their approach to anti-Semitism, hate speech, and anti-Israel activism, but it also looks at issues that have historically not been in ADL's purview, like environmental policies, how the companies affect access to health and nutrition, or how they pay their employees. While Hammerman believes all of that work will continue, Greenblatt has said that the ADL's focus is on its traditional mission of combating anti-Semitism and bigotry. Last year, Greenblatt said in a speech that the group is placing a substantial focus on combating anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism from the left. I reiterated the link between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, and we've seen that in companies moving away from Israel. And we've seen that, the anti-Zionism, in companies moving away from Israel in ways that are troubling, Greenblatt said. This space is multidimensional. Yes, BDS is an issue. Yes, brand spokespeople who are not aligned with companies' stated values are an issue. I think that the issues will reiterate and change over time. It's hard to say what will be this percent or that. So I thought it was wonderful to share another way of approaching anti-Semitism, a very practical way, a way that will influence, while it's directed at these companies have such an influence on our lives, on what we buy, on what we purchase, on where our money goes, that it will end up affecting society and hopefully not allow brand spokespeople to get up and badmouth the Jewish people, especially, well, to not allow to badmouth the Jewish people at all. Tonight, we are standing up in a different way. We are joining with our neighboring congregations. We are coming together in solidarity and in prayer. We are highlighting this issue, and we are highlighting the fact of never again. We are highlighting the fact that we will stand up, we will speak out, we will make a difference with our actions and our voices, and how we spend our money. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be the last sermon I ever have to give on anti-Semitism. We rise now for Aleinu at the bottom of page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'ador hakol, l'aseit gdula yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, elo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu karim u'mishtatabim u'modim, libnei melech malchei halachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai, l'melech ha'kol
We turn to page 598. And we remember those we've loved and lost. We are in the week of mourning. The Shiv appeared for Minna Perlow, mother of Ed Perlow, and for Michael Ordenschuk, friend of Rhoda and Don Craigsman. For the month of mourning for Barbara Robinson, mother of Carrie Behrens, Stephen Duboff, father of Lauren Rubin, Genevieve Gallo, grandmother of Kathy George, and Joseph Slavin, friend of Steph Rosenberg. We are observing the yurt sites of Gerald Bestein, Min Blumenthal, Lewis Clark, Pauline Cohen, Jonas Deutsch, Charles Fogelman, Norman Friedman, Carl Getzel, Elsie Greenstein, Harold Hyman, Rudy Katz, Brian Michnikowski, Sylvia Ionis, Morton Rader, Bernard Rashbaum, Sidney Rhine, Judy Rose, Shirley Rosen, Rita Rosenberg, Fred Rosner, Daniel Sennett, Florence Siegel, Regina Stileman, Sanford Susserman, Lawrence Taft, Vilma Vega, Fran Wasserman, Bunny Whelan, and June Young. Is there anyone else you are saying Kaddish for tonight? Thank you. Let me just check here. Say it again.
Mark Eisenberg.
Mark Eisenberg. We join together. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba v'yamad yivra kirutei v'yamlich machutei v'chayachon et yomechon v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael v'galav v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mivorach le'olam mei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yit hadar, v'yit halev, v'yit halal, shemei kudasha, riku. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiram v'yama v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shlom v'rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say. We remain standing as we turn to page 122 and 123. And we ask Greg to grab the Kiddush cup and invite Cole and his dad Greg to the bima.
That heaven and the earth were finished, and all their way. The seventh day God finished.
The mic needs to
go
closer.
Heaven and earth were finished and all their way. On the seventh day God finished the work that God had been doing. God ceased on the seventh day all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased all work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Abore peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava, uvratzon, hinkilanu, zikaron, lema'aseh, bereshit, ki hu yom tehila, lemigras kodesh, zeher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta, michol ha'amim, v'shabbat Kodshecha Be'ahava Uvratzon Inhaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh Hashah.
Yum, yum. Please be seated. And we're going to allow Greg to head back to his seat with the Kiddush cup. You like it or you don't like it? It's grape juice. All right. And Cole, you're going to stay up here for some goodies. Are you still drinking? From Dr. Goldstein, our president.
Good yet? All right. Cole, it is truly my privilege and honor to represent the Board of Trustees and present you with your gifts tonight. So the first gift is this beautiful Kiddush cup from the Brotherhood and Sisterhood. May you use it in many simchas and wonderful events in the future. And you could take the plastic cup out and put whatever you want in it as you get older. But right now it's that really sweet grape juice. So we also have a certificate of bar mitzvah, which is beautifully signed by our clergy. Beautiful signatures, right? Look at that. That is something, right? So this represents all the hard work coming to this day and this weekend. It's a lot, right? It's a lot of work. You should be really proud of yourself. But don't think of this as an end to your journey. We want you back. I'm watching you. You've got an aura about you. And you need to be still at Temple. This is not, you're not done. So there's a lot of teen programming. Like the teens just went to New Orleans last night. So we need you to be doing stuff like that. So you should be very proud, but keep coming. We also have a gift certificate towards a teen trip to Israel. Hopefully you could take advantage of that. And we have a teen year membership to the Suffolk JCC. They have great programming and a great gym, and it's an awesome facility. And we're back here tomorrow morning at what time? 10:30. You get to sleep in a little bit. Nice. Way to go. So mazel tov to you and to the family.
Thank you, Cole. Thank you. We're excited about tomorrow. Right now, we turn to page 371 for prayers of healing. I don't know when my mic went off, so I hope you could hear me. We prayed for healing for Sue Ellen Sommer, for Phil Sherman, for Seth Rosenbluth, for Dave Goldstein, for Bob Signoracci and Bobby Bird, for many of Seth Rosenbluth's friends that I have listed here, for Matthew Pell, for Linda Walters, for Jaya Kowarski, for Amy Dinnerman, for Gloria Schulman, for Lillian Rosenbaum, for Joseph Perlow, for Jay Nussbaum, for Maggie Farkas, for Joanne Kraus, for Herb Schoenfeld, for Ruth Guggenheim, for Ben Hirsch, for Sandy Miller, for Joni Spielberg, for Phyllis Belford, for Carrie Behrens, and who else are we praying for today? Marshall. Thank you. Healing prayers. Judy. Thank you. Any friends on Zoom have additional people? Let us offer these prayers of healing, and please take some healing for yourselves. It's so hard in this world. We could all use a little bit of healing, and then send out this beautiful healing energy to those in need. Amen va'amen, a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy healing. So any birthdays or anniversaries? Cole, your birthday this month? No, October, the end of October, though, right now. All right, no blessing them. We'll deal with blessing you tomorrow. I'll look at my list quickly. Any birthdays, anniversaries? Oh, of course, Ed and Ivy, happy anniversary, stand up, and they are co-sponsoring the ONEG this evening, and I know they rearranged their schedule to be here, so very important. Fern. Oh, wow, happy birthday. And Ed and Merle Perlo had their anniversary just a few days ago. I don't even know what today's date is, they're now with us. Ivy and Ed are, what are you, the 16th? 16 years on the 16th? Good. Oh, 19 years. Well, that's wrong in here then. Oh, it is the 16th day. It just says the day again. That was weird. Used to tell me how many years. Anissa and Brian have an anniversary coming up. Any other birthdays? Give me one more second. Somebody I saw that was on Zoom. Well, we want a lovely Shahriya.
Right, I've got one of those. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו, והקימנו, והחיינו, בזמן הזה. Amen. Mazel tov.
On Maya Esrim, may your love continue to grow each and every day. And you may kiss your bride. Dr. Brian,
I'll just come here then.
go on.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Brian.
And happy anniversary and Mazel Tov, and thank you both families for sponsoring our ONEG. The ONEG is going to be in the multimedia room, and if you are able, please exit through the multimedia room rather than coming back around. But if you have to, because there are stairs involved, then come back this way. But we have a party coming in, so we just want to try and keep the volume and the traffic down so that they can enter as they wish. So, as always, a lot going on. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Oh, so this is good, Cole. You'll have to see this. Shabbat Torah study online. So if you don't have too much to do to get over here, you have a little time to do a little Shabbat Torah study first before you get going. Monday the 14th at 7:30 is a Chai Institute Adult Learning. Tuesday the 15th, we have Jewish Tangents in the morning, and 11:30 a.m. a Village Game Day. Not sure what that is, but that sounds awesome. I'm thinking
People
pre-gaming.
from the village come together and play games.
Play
Like
games.
Mexican
I'm
something.
I've got University of Georgia on my mind. I'm thinking like, what game is going on then? I'm gonna be pre-gaming for that, but not on Tuesday. Wednesday the 16th, we've got Village Torah Yoga in the morning, a food drive at ShopRite at Country
Who is
Point.
teaching Village Torah Yoga? Did you announce that?
Rabbi Susie Hennison Moskowitz, she
At
of the
11:30.
UJA Community Service Award last night. Thank you, Rab.
Thank you.
Woo! What a great event here last night with an honoree behind me. She will be teaching Village Torah Yoga Wednesday morning. There's a membership meeting in the evening at 7 p.m. Then Thursday the 17th, Hootenanny for Eisner and Crane Lake Camp.
It's a big concert with all like the big names in Jewish music, which I would know, and some of you might know some of them, but most of you wouldn't know any of them, but they're all really good. And it's in the city, but you can also watch it virtually.
So all the big names minus Cantor.
Yeah.
But a lot of them we had when we did our series of Hadala concerts, a
Yep.
bunch of them we had.
Next Friday, we've got Torah Yoga in the morning, and then back to 6:30 for services, and there'll be a third grade Shabbat service. Those are always great. Then some upcoming events, November 22nd, charcuterie board making with the charcuterie queen. You can make your charcuterie board for Thanksgiving. Sign up online. We have November 30th, Shop and Schmooze, December 10th, latkes and vodka. Sign up online. That's gonna be great. You can learn about vodkas while we eat latkes. There's gonna be other light food for us to eat. December 16th is our Hanukkah Shabbat and dinner. Everybody knows it's a Friday night. It's the 16th. The Hanukkah or the latkes? December 10th is the latkes. December 16th is our Hanukkah display, our beautiful festival of lights going on where everybody brings their Hanukkahs and we light up the menorah Hanukkahs in beautiful fashion. It is a sight. It's beautiful, and there's a dinner to follow that you have to sign up for. December 24th, we have a matzo ball and wonton virtual art auction by Marlin Arts. Rosh Chodesh is our women's group that meets once a month to welcome the new moon. Check for details on that. Two opportunities to travel to Israel with Rabbi Moskowitz. One is the end of the year, December 21st through January 1st. And the other one is April 15th through 26th of next year. And as always, two opportunities to interact with each other. We have the digital interactive memorial board in the back of our lobby. Consider submitting photos and bios of your departed loved ones. And we have the professional marketplace. Consider contributing to that as well. If you have a business or services or goods to advertise, or if you're looking for any of those, look at our marketplace before shopping elsewhere. I think I have it all. So again, the Oneg down the hall all the way around. If you need to exit, I didn't tell you to do so, but sneak your way out this way or go back around. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Mazel Tov.
Shalom. Oh, I got to pray before we sing. I have one last prayer that is also being read at Melville Jewish Center and at Dix Hills Jewish Center. This is by Rabbi Seth Goldstein, that he wrote after a hate crime at Temple Beth Tefillah in Olympia, Washington, that took place in December of 2015. And it's really a prayer of healing. Immediately following the incident, he commented, "A recent study documented how Jews are still the #1 target of hate crimes in this country. And it's only gotten worse in the last 7 years. Anti-Semitism is alive and well, and we as Jews need to be mindful and cautious. We are living in difficult times. These are times when racism is again rearing its ugly head, Islamophobia, both in the form of hateful rhetoric and attacks on Muslims, is entering the mainstream. Talk of immigration devolves into stereotyping and fear-mongering. Expressions of exclusion and bias are being normalized." And he responded by creating a prayer for healing, because we not only need to repair the damage and address security measures, but we need to heal spiritually as well. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, hate has been visited upon our community over time. Our sacred spaces have been violated. We feel vulnerable, afraid, angry, and broken. God and God of our ancestors, we pray to you. May strength come from our vulnerability so we can support one another and receive the support of others with gratitude and humility. May compassion come from our fear so we do not act from that fear, and we can pursue justice, not revenge, peace, not more violence. May wisdom come from our anger, so we are able to see that an attack against us is an attack against all, and we are able to join in common cause with those who are similarly oppressed and targeted. And may healing come from our brokenness, so we are able to rise from this challenge with renewed life, commitment, and connection. God and God of our ancestors, in the light of these violence and hatred, we maintain our commitment to be Sha'arei Yisrael, the remnant of Israel, continually upholding the teachings and traditions of your covenant, pursuing righteousness and compassion, justice and mercy, peace and understanding, love and friendship. May you frustrate those who seek to do harm and uphold those who seek to do good. May the shelter of your peace spread over us and over all who dwell on earth. And let us sing them. Please rise. Oh God, please give us compassion to fight hatred. Please give us love to spread it throughout the world. And let us say, Amen. And let's quickly go down the hall to the multimedia room to visit and have a nash.
There's good.
Shabbat Shalom.
Better put the cover on.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Yes.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Recording stopped.